On to a 1v1 on Crossing in the Woods. This game is going to be Redwings versus something. Some name that is Chinese, I guess.
Rifle squad ready for action.
Area is ours.
Yes, an intervention. This game, Redwings is playing as U.S. forces. So apparently he bought Western Front armies. I'm just kidding. We've actually seen Redwings play U.S. forces once before, and that was during Starcross Kings. And that game was a little weird. But it looks like he's going with a pretty standard opening at least.
Lousy patch of dirt is ours.
Fielding 2 squads of riflemen. U.S. forces is actually so versatile that there's not very many builds you can do with them that don't make sense. Even rear echelon troop spam can be made to work, sort of, with BARs and bazookas and stuff, so curious to see what he's gonna do. Assault engineers in the ambulance base rush is rather cute, I'll admit, but it doesn't work against OKW, so that's clearly not an option. It doesn't really work against Oster either, to be fair. But I don't know, I guess we'll see what he decides to go with. We've got infantry, airborne, and armor company, and his opponent has fielded spec ops, fortifications, and breakthrough. We're gonna see double Volksgrenadier opening there, splitting his forces between the left and right side for now. Should be able to win an engagement against these rear echelon troops here on the left side with that squad of Volksgrenadiers. Meanwhile, riflemen have moved up to engage these Sturmpios. This house with its only one north-facing window is not going to be that good of a defensive position against these riflemen. 10 riflemen to the 1 Sturmpio in there. Volksgrenadiers taking up a position in green cover here to try and get a little bit more damage done to those riflemen if possible, but the munitions point will fall into Redwings' control. Leaves the building with his Sturm Pioneers, puts the Volksgrenadiers inside, try and boost his firepower there with the Sturm Pioneers. Redwings goes with really early grenade tech. Ooh, almost destroys that building. Might go down to small arms fire. There it goes. Volksgrenadiers are killed. And those 2 squads of riflemen prove to be far too much. He suffers an early squad wipe. Meanwhile, over here on the left side, Volksgrenadiers did not engage those rear echelons and it's actually allowed the left side to get cut off. He needs to push those away with that Volksgrenadier squad. He's tied up capturing the actual point. Meanwhile, battle group headquarters has gone up right here. Smoke grenade from Redwings into the middle of the road. Oh, what is he doing? That was a late retreat. Wow, he's lucky that rifle squad got away. Very late retreat. Another smoke grenade right here. I guess I don't know even what he's trying to do. I guess he wants to maybe throw a frag. He doesn't actually have the munitions to do so, though. Taking some manpower bleed here. He's probably going to want to retreat from those Sturmpios. Frag is going out. Slowly. Sturmpios will dodge and be fine. Rifle squad almost gets wiped here. Oh, God. Wow, are they really gonna get away? Sturmpio's fucked up that volley, apparently. Riflemen get away with a tiny sliver. Redwings catches those Sturmpios laying wires. A little late to react to that and almost loses the full squad. Reacts just in time. Squad will be able to get away. Fresh squad of Volksgrenadiers being fielded now, in addition to a Rakettenwerfer. He seems to be bleeding a lot of manpower. He only has 3 squads on the field. Manpower is pretty low, although he did just purchase 2 more. More smoke being deployed to allow those riflemen to get into close range on the Volksgrenadiers, which are going to reposition to this green cover over here, allowing Redwings to take control of this munitions point. Meanwhile, rear echelon troops are going to take control of the central victory point, and these riflemen are all reinforcing here in the base with a 4 riflemen into ambulance opening. It looks like Captain Tier. But no decision has been made yet, since Redwings is going with a really aggressive opening towards the cutoff and hasn't really had very good fuel control on either of the flanks of this map. trying to go for munitions control instead, so that he can continue tossing grenades. Mostly smoke grenades. None of his frags have really connected. He will continue to delay the capture of this munitions point by simply standing inside of his own smoke. Volksgrenadiers tossed a grenade into the smoke, but it doesn't really look like it connected. Kind of got his opponent to waste a little of his own munitions right there.
Green as green can be.
Very much playing around the munitions right now.
Follow me.
Bust out the metal, boys! Promotion just came through!
Smoke grenade going onto this green cover position. They will reposition out of the smoke. Not wanting to get charged, although honestly they would have won that engagement with those Stern Pioneers.
Promotion! Someone get us out of here! Orders!
Now we'll give Redwings cover as he makes his way over towards the left side cutoff once again, and Riflemen are going to continue the harassment of the munitions right here.
Welcome to the Death Factory, boys. Stick with me and you might just make it.
No, didn't quit for the day, I just had some food. Tournament's over, but I am doing fewer requested games. Riflemen there are forced to retreat. These riflemen may continue to engage with grenades. Redwings has exhausted pretty much all of his munitions on grenades. Looks like he's trying to stall for one more right here. Changes his mind, has fallen too low. Another rifleman squad moving up to assist. Rear echelon troops and riflemen working on the left side cutoff again, and it looks like this extra squad of rear echelon troops has been fielded to get this territory over here under control, and they'll be able to do so unopposed with no issues. And that rifle squad will be forced to retreat.
Enemy infantry!
Contact! Infantry assaulting! Abundance field!
Capture point is being overrun.
We're getting chewed up here!
Captain just took the battlefield.
Stern Pioneers force another retreat.
Area is ours.
We do have Captain Tier here from Redwings, which makes me think possibly Infantry or Armor Company. No decisions yet.
Sniffing around our asses.
Volksgrenadiers taking control of this strategic point. Captain and Riflemen making their way over to the right side. Rear echelon troops are going to take control of the strategic point over there. On the left, the map is split quite vertically for crossing in the woods. And a Tier 4 structure has been built over here on the road to protect that munitions from Redwings harassment. No commander selection from either player yet, despite it being 5 command points into the game. Up to 4 squads of Volksgrenadiers with the Sturm Pios and Raketenwerfer, but no Panzerschrecks purchased yet. Spending a bit of munitions on his own grenades, plus Redwings' huge munitions denial all game long, has made Panzerschreck production difficult.
Resource sector has been cut off from our supply chain. Under attack!
No enemy activity.
Battle promotion!
Smoke being deployed over here on the right side once again.
Contact! Infantry assaulting!
Looks like Redwings is going to lose control of the left side fuel unless he gets up into short range. Well, actually, geez, those rear echelons are doing surprisingly well against those Sturm Pioneers, dropping two models without support. They must have got a couple lucky volleys. Moves up here into close range and throws a... That was the best timed frag I've ever seen, Redwings. Truly masterful. Really excellent timing. I thought that Sturm Pio squad was going to go down for sure. I can't believe it got away. Over here on the right side, Captain and these two squads are moving up into short range to fire at these Volksgrenadiers. Ooh, might wipe that squad in the red cover. Not quite. Volksgrenadiers do just barely make it to safety. The captain and rear echelons will take control of the fuel over here on the right, and that rifle squad is going to take victory point over here on the right as well.
Many say we have no hope. Well, I say let us show them what we are made of. Farmers, bakers, schoolboys, and masters. Let us show them what we are.
Grenadiers back to full strength.
Stuart making its way over to the right side.
Light tank ready to deploy.
With a Raketwerfer and one Panzerschreck on the field, it won't be able to be too aggressive. Obviously, the Tier 4 structure will prevent movements over there on the right side, but it actually will preemptively counter the Panzer II, which has been fielded. A bit of a risky play when you see Captain Tier to get a Panzer II, especially if that Stuart hits the field first, which it has. I'm not sure a single one of Redwings' grenades is connected this game. He really needs to try and toss grenades simultaneously at multiple points on the map. Throwing a grenade in a single engagement generally doesn't work. Your opponent will notice and dodge unless he's just happened to get lucky and he's not paying attention. Panzer II catches that rifleman. Does not chase. Has to disengage away from the Stuart, which is moving to screen. Rifleman will encounter Volksgrenadiers over here. Grenade gets tossed. Redwings dodges late. Way too late. Counter grenade onto this squad though. They will dodge. Take one model loss. Redwings will retreat. Should be able to get to safety. Stuart moving to push away the Volksgrenadiers here on the left side. Meanwhile, the Loops is looking for opportunities on the right. One AT gun has been fielded to screen the efforts of that Panzer II.
Receiving enemy fire! Ground secure! Fire support! Aufgepasst! Check weapons! Pounders back!
Send orders!
Enemy flanking us!
Target captured. No enemy contact.
Our echelon troops taking control of the center VP. Rifleman moving to engage over here on the left. Push away that squad. Our echelon troops about to get pushed away by Sternpies here in the middle. Redwings has had pretty okay map control, but if you can't shut down this fuel income over here, that Panther's gonna arrive eventually. Having purchased a Stuart, his own tanks are gonna be a little bit late, utilizing it for infantry counter harassment right now. It's only up to 2 kills though. If you could try to bleed some higher value targets like Sternpios, or try and take out the Panzer II, get a better return on his investment. He does catch it slightly out of position. If he gets a point blank engine shot, he could probably hunt it and destroy it, but couldn't get close enough. We'll continue to engage for a little while the Raketwerfer repositions. Nice grenade on that Sternpio squad here in the north as well. Raketwerfer lands one shot on the Stuart and it's forced to back away. Won't be able to finish off that Sternpio squad. Smoke deployed there will allow that rifleman to retreat. Ooh, what was that? What happened over here? Apparently a full Volksgrenadier squad died of rear echelons on the captain. Nice pickup. I wonder if he got some lucky bazooka snipes or how long that engagement was happening. I wasn't paying close enough attention, but a full Volksgrenadier squad does go down. And this AT gun could snipe that Panzer II if it reveals itself to these scouting riflemen. Doesn't get a shot off through this hedge.
Combat unit ready.
Stewart's been fully repaired over here on the right side, and 2 squads of Obersoldaten are being fielded, or on the left side. Overs are being fielded to the right side. We'll take control of this fuel back. Since the Oberkommando West still holds a victory point, the game is going to last some time. Quite a ways to go before a Panther hits the field, though. Redwings has plenty of time to make something happen, and he has indeed gone with infantry company and chosen LMGs. He has thrown a lot of grenades, so didn't have that much munitions with which to purchase them, but he has outfitted 2 squads with 1 LMG each, which is the sensible thing to do since it unlocks defensive stance on 2 different squads, whereas if you stack 2 LMGs on 1 squad, only that 1 squad gets defensive stance. Grenade getting tossed right there, brings the squad low. Counter grenade gets dodged. I'll retreat the squad anyway. Doesn't think he can win the engagement. Obersoldaten will be forced to retreat by a couple good Stewart shots over here on the right side. The squad gets away just narrowly. Riflemen move to take control of the fuel point. There's the priest. That is a dangerous decision. Almost got 2 wipes with the very first shot, but by going with priest instead of a tank, he leaves himself extremely vulnerable to a Panther. So clearly he will be banking on the fact that he can get a Jackson out before his opponent can get a Panther out, and he's correct in this instance since his map control has been quite good. And the lethality of engagements has been quite high. Panther can't usually hit the field by 17 minutes. He'll be able to field an appropriate counter in a reasonable amount of time. Shouldn't have too much trouble keeping that priest alive. Smoke grenade deployed over here on the right side.
Squad back to full strength.
Cooper, capture prepare for orders. No enemy activity.
Redwings has been forced to retreat from the right side, and Oberkommando West will take control of this fuel once again. A few squads healing up in the base by the ambulance, and we see pretty strong force being sent over to the left side to counter 3 squads of Volksgrenadiers. Should be successful, especially with priest support. He can utilize those LMGs effectively. Utilize defensive stance. Not moving his Stewart to engage, although the priest is firing, but misses its opening shot, and I think they will get clear, and they're definitely clear. That would have been a good one if it had landed, but it didn't. LMG riflemen over here on the left will prompt a retreat from those Volksgrenadiers, and the artillery barrage will force these squads around the north area. Smoke grenade being deployed again to prevent that looks from firing while these riflemen take control of the strategic point. A lot of grenades being thrown into smoke grenades, which is pretty much going to negate his ability to bring in time on target artillery on that tier 4 structure, which in combination with a priest barrage can destroy it. If he doesn't start floating munitions a little bit. I think a full squad of riflemen just died in that building as well. But rifles with their LMGs, activating defensive stance, are successful in pushing away this force, and the Lux is going to disengage. AT gun, 2 AT guns now, have been fielded to provide extra protection against Panzer II and potentially any late game tank. Tree point being unlocked right here. Interesting choice. It's right by his base. Doesn't really save that much time. 300 manpower is a lot to be throwing down on a retreat point, and then if your battle group headquarters is right next to your base, I'm not sure if it's really worth it. Priest barrage is largely off target, doesn't hit anything except for 1 Volksgrenadier. Minor damage to the structure itself. I think it would behoove Redwings to fire his priest at the tier 4 structure instead, to try and shut down Obersoldaten production, try and shut down Panther production before it hits the field. about 40 more fuel before that Panther arrives.
Enemy fire!
Aufgepasst. Fallback position upgrade ready.
Squads healing and reinforcing in the American base, going to start making their way back over towards the right side. Left side is going to get taken by one squad of Volksgrenadiers. Panzer II in the area available for support. Redwing's playing a little passive right now. He's got 2 field guns and a priest with which he could make a coordinated attack on this tier 4 structure. Getting up to 22 minutes, a Panther will be arriving very soon. Priest bombarding the Lux and Sturmpio squad. He will retreat out of the barrage. Takes a big hit on the Panzer II, but the infantry are fine. Panzer II getting pretty aggressive, but screening infantry have cleared out. Field gun ambulance taking heavy damage here. Stuart's sort of in the area to support, but I don't know what it's going to do against Volksgrenadiers with such high health and veterancy right there. Priest is trying to pull back to... What was that? What was that? AT gun shot, I guess. Nice hit by that AT gun. Yeah, it was the AT gun. These squads are going to reinforce here in the US base. Bit of a harassment attempt over there on the right side to get that fuel back, but the left side has been taken by these Volksgrenadiers. Redwings needs to recrew that anti-tank gun, get himself a new ambulance. Quite a bit of manpower being lost. Up to 250 fuel almost. His opponent just now got to the 175 he needs for a Panther. But fortunately for Redwings, he just queued up some Volksgrenadiers and a Rakettenwerfer. Why would he do that? Maybe he wants to go straight for King Tiger. Something I would not recommend against infantry company, because the King Tiger is slow enough to get nailed by the priest. Not slow enough to get nailed by time on target artillery though. I don't think anything is. Unless it's immobilized, of course. But Redwings has gone captains here, so there really isn't much of a threat of mines unless he lays the little rifleman anti-tank mines. I'm not even sure those do anything to a King Tiger though. They might. I don't think I've ever seen a King Tiger hit more than... I don't know if I've ever seen a King Tiger hit one at all. Nobody seems to plant them, so I don't really know. And I haven't planted enough of them myself. Rakettenwerfer manages to nail the Stuart over there on the right side. These two squads making their way to the front lines. Obersoldaten will clear out that AT gun right there. LMG squad on the left side will prompt a retreat from those Volksgrenadiers. They get away narrowly. Redwings should be able to get control of the left back, but those Obersoldaten are a pretty serious problem that Redwings will have to deal with. Priest is up to 8 kills. Has not had very many great barrages, although dealing heavy damage to that Panzer II was nice. And still the tier 4 structure is completely unharassed. And we're going to see the Oberkommando West get up to about 210 fuel already. Ooh, that was huge! I saw that happening in slow motion before my very eyes. One shot. Full squad of Obersoldaten wiped. Definitely got a lot of value out of that barrage. Apparently Redwings stopped the barrage after one-shotting those overs because he didn't need to fire anymore. Nothing left in the barrage radius. Riflemen over here on the right side will be able to suppress those Volksgrenadiers utilizing defensive stance. They're going to have to retreat. This squad of riflemen on the left will get that fuel under control as well. So Redwings continues to have excellent fuel control, but his opponent is ticking up there, up to 223 now. It's going to be Gonna be something on the field. Maybe just wants that command panther. Got the manpower to call that in now if he wants.
Panther, ready for
And there it
action.
is. It goes with the command panther rather than the
Command has authorized the use of
standard
radio
panther.
silence.
Had a little bit of extra fuel, so I guess why not? He did choose spec ops. You might see him throw SCGs on his oversoul diamond. Of course, he will have access to infiltration grenades.
Panther, ready to move. Panther, we have fallen to 200 points.
I have just tried to be in good spirits for all of you.
Rifleman not taking all that much damage, so will continue to simply sit there in defensive stance for now. Captain hovering by the munitions. Can't get too close though. Tier 4 structure can probably cover almost the entire capture circle. Top mount machine gun on the command panther has completed. Left side has been completely captured by Redwings other than the strategic points. Priest is available to fire again, and I think we're finally going to see a barrage on the tier 4 structure. At that range, can't hit much, but he doesn't want to move up into a more aggressive location to barrage with that panther on the field. He's got 2 AT guns to screen, but even that would probably not be sufficient to save the priest. Might be enough to kill the panther. His steward is dead, so he cannot shell shock or engine damage the panther with the steward, but he could, of course, try and nail it with an anti-tank rifle grenade if it overextended. Or maybe he could plant some miracle light anti-tank mines. Again, not 100% clear personally on what those do to heavy tanks like panthers. Although I'd be curious to find out. Which makes me kind of wish I got more infantry company submissions, because it's a really very unique play style for U.S. forces. It's got the LMGs on the riflemen. You can build sandbags, plant mines and stuff. It's got the priest, which fills an indirect fire gap in the U.S. forces army to make it a little bit more of a defensive faction, basically. Gives you a means of suppressing blobs, even if that means you have to blob yourself a little bit, actually, because you can definitely blob these LMGs as U.S. forces if you want to. Smoke grenade deployed on the munitions to try and get that decapped. Under cover of smoke, a couple squads making their way towards the center. Victory point. Command Panther takes a lot of damage. Wow, from those AT guns across the river. That's going to have to pull back for repairs. We do have Vet 3 and the support upgrade on these stern pilots, so it should be repaired quite quickly unless the priest gets a really nice barrage. It's currently firing over here on the left, however. And Redwings has yet to spend his 300 fuel. He's replaced one of his lost rifleman squads. One of these squads is quite fresh. Plus a lot of expenditures into these AT guns means he's not going with a very heavy vehicle-based build, leaving him with a lot of fuel in the bank, giving him some options for later in the game. He's only purchased a priest, has a big fuel purchase other than his steward. He has purchased a major. Retreat point set up there, and with the Panther on the field, he might consider a Jackson. 2 AT guns are keeping it at bay, but won't likely be able to hunt it down and destroy it unless it makes an overly aggressive maneuver. If he feels sufficiently defended by those 2 AT guns, he may even consider a second priest to try and brute force one of these structures down. Since that squad of stern pioneers is going to be hard-pressed to keep both the Panther, Battle Group Headquarters, and Tier 4 structure repaired. A second priest would definitely outpace them, possibly wipe them, if it caught them repairing. Currently a lot of Redwings' PopCap is tied up in infantry/team weapons. Just queued up a Jackson to help with possibly hunting down that Panther. He should be able to afford roughly one more vehicle or 2 more vehicles.
We have fallen to 100 points.
After that, Jackson hits the field, and then his army will be pretty much full.
Fire! Suppressive fire! Target secure.
Awarded!
Keep up the fire!
Hilfe!
Enemy infantry!
Riflemen forced to retreat over there on the left side by the Command Panther and advancing Folks Grenadiers, which are going to try to get this victory point under their control. And there's the Jackson making its way forward. Has to be very careful with that, as it's currently protected by a lot of Panzerschrecks. And a fresh Panzer II has been fielded. Interesting choice. Must be getting very frustrated trying to deal with these riflemen. He's fielding something that's a slightly harder counter there. It is in range of the Command Panther, giving it movement speed and sight, apparently.
Enemy infantry!
Booby trap on the, wow, booby trap on the victory point. Redwings, however, will be able to sweep it with this minesweeper, if only by sheer luck. I don't think there have been any shoe mines. What are the odds that he would just send a minesweeper into that booby trap point? And I believe he has to fully capture the point for the booby trap to be defused. Nice play by Redwings minesweeper over there. Panther is bombarding the something. Infantry around this tree. I'm not sure if that got anything or not. AT gun will get cleared here once again. Panther is going to pull back to safety. Ambulance narrowly survives one Panzerschreck shot. A little bit of reinforcement happening here in the base. Jackson getting some repairs as well. Maybe that won't be defused. Does that just last forever? Guess I was wrong about that. That's gotta be a bug or something. There's definitely gotta be a way to clean booby traps up. Kinda weird.
Incoming fire!
Pretty quick repairs on that Panther. Folks Grenadier is going to take control of the victory point over there. Man, that... I hope that's a bug, because... there's got to be something you can do about this.
Target secure. Our supply lines have been cut.
Another booby trap here on the central victory point from those Obersoldaten. Panzer II making its way over towards the right side.
Anti-tank Geschütz! Contact!
AT gun will catch that Panzer II. Why isn't it reacting? I think it's dead. Alright. So much for that. Wasn't monitoring it. AT gun takes it out at range. Priest is bombarding the Command Panther. Does not get a lucky hit, unfortunately. Should be able to reposition to safety. Obersoldaten will retreat as well. Over Commando West hold almost the entire center, and Redwings just lost a full rifle squad walking into that capture circle. If he does the same right here, I'm pretty sure that booby trap's gonna go off. And another squad is wiped. Wow. I guess there's no way to defuse those? I don't know. I don't know how do you get rid of those? That seems really dumb. Time on target artillery over there on the right side. Redwings fielding some fresh riflemen to try to replace his losses. Getting pushed hard by these Folks Grenadiers. They fire on the Jackson rather than the Priest. Fresh rifle squad is moving up to try to counter. Grenade on the AT gun will clear it. Priest and Jackson both pull back to safety. Full squad just got wiped though. What got wiped? Folks Grenadiers, I guess. You think so? I think so. Folks Grenadiers get wiped. Or maybe a Raketenwerfer, I don't know. I think he says we've lost a gun crew if a Raketenwerfer dies. Fresh Panzer II being fielded, spending an oddly large amount of fuel on Panzer IIs this game. 150 is kind of a high investment into just light tanks that he doesn't seem to be making great use of. Priest bombarding the battle group headquarters again. Stern Pioneers seem to be struggling to keep all structures repaired to a reasonable level. That thing might even get destroyed if he doesn't go repair it soon. Squad of riflemen on the left side takes control of the VP. Is moving to take the strategic and fuel points as well.
Orders completed!
We are down to 75 points.
Grenade gets tossed.
Someone block the
2 overs killed and both squads will retreat. Priest is up to 15 kills, so it's had a bit of an impact, but a lot of barrages have been kind of off target. It's not Vet 2 yet, so it doesn't have the super quick barrage cooldown yet.
Contact! Infantry assaulting!
And Redwings is going to cruise up to 340 fuel, spending almost all of his manpower on replacing rifleman losses, not really fielding tanks at all.
medic! Medic! Area secure! Hold the position!
Just that one Jackson to manage the threat of the Panther. Which has 12 kills apparently, going to be up to Vet 1 quite soon. Certainly doing a lot better with that than with the Panzer 2s. And Over Commando West will secure control of both fuel points, in addition to 2 victory points, but Redwings currently has a huge victory point lead over his opponent. And if he can just get 2 victory... Whoa! Huge priest hit right there! That was a nice one. Very clumped for that advance, and that priest just nailed him at short range. That will give Redwings Vet 2, and that priest is going to be firing very quickly for the rest of this game. If that Command Panther doesn't advance and hunt it down, which it should maybe be able to do. I don't know, with the Jackson and an AT gun protecting, could prove 2 AT guns in fact would be, yeah, way too much for that Panther to deal with. On an overextended push, he would need a very big infantry screen, and if he messes up his infantry advance by clumping like that and losing that many guys to a priest barrage, pretty much completely shuts down any hope of a push. So Redwings does have his side of the river relatively well defended as a result. Look at that cooldown, that is so quick. Gonna be firing again in just 10 seconds.
Mission accomplished. Return fire! Return fire! Incoming fire! Squad is back to full strength.
Wait till they move!
Veterancy level 3.
That's not good. Ouch. Not sure that rifleman's gonna get away. Looks like it this time. Grenade was ever so slightly off target. Whoa, big push by that Panther. Jackson gets a big shot though if that AT gun turns to fire on its rear armor. And there it goes. Command Panther does get punished for its aggression, but the Jackson will go down. I would say that engagement largely goes to Redwings though. Losing a Jackson, especially with these fuel reserves, is not nearly as big a deal as losing that 200 fuel Command Panther. Ooh, and the Panzer II went down way here in the back to an anti-tank rifle grenade, which was already damaged from AT gun fire. Grenade might wipe a squad. Riflemen barely get clear of the blast. They're going to retreat, but those Oversoldaten could easily wipe all of these heavily damaged squads. They should retreat. Captain's going to be the first to go down. He just melted. Get those rifle squads to safety, Redwings. Oh my god, 2 squads wiped just from an LMG burst from those Oversoldaten. That was painful. Kind of sours that victory a little bit. Not noticing the grenade though. Late dodge brings the squad down to 2 men. Priest could try and wipe them with 1 shot, but they're going to retreat. Priest is moving up to fire on the battle group headquarters, I think. Which is actually quite close to being destroyed. Probably 1 or 2 more barrages to finish that off, but Redwings just took heavy infantry losses from that not retreating his captain. Not retreating his wounded squads. He lost 2 of them. That really hurt. Priest does move up to fire on this position, I think. No, on the HQ. Ooh, that looked like a maybe big hit. I don't know. I wasn't paying close enough attention. Maybe not. Never mind. No, doesn't kill anything. That probably could have killed those overs. The timing just ever so slightly off. Over's not repositioning out of the barrage, but the Priest only fires 2 shells before moving to safety, getting screened by Volksgrenadiers up here. Had to stop the barrage. Squad might get wiped right there. There he goes. Redwings trying to equalize the infantry game a little bit, picking up some squad wipes, bringing his opponent down to only 5 infantry squads, which is good, but he needs to get some map control back if at all possible. His Major is up to Vet 3. He could maybe sprint that around. get some territory if he could find some unopposed locations on the map. Volksgrenadiers flank around the left side and pick up the ambulance though. Nice play by those Volksgrenadiers. Ooh. Priest firing somewhere. Right there. Clears out the stolen AT gun. Really short cooldown on those barrages. You can just fire that all game long. Our Commando West player really needs to find a way to destroy that priest. Stern Pioneers still have their Minesweeper out and might lose to these riflemen. They'll be forced to retreat. No defensive stance from them. Probably should have activated that for a little bit of extra suppression or defense. Redwings will be forced to retreat. He's been pushed completely off the map, but again, only 64 points remain. If he can continue to manage the threat of his opponent's armor and keep his priest alive, take out some enemy infantry with that priest, and just get some map control back for not that much time, he can still win this. Has a huge victory point lead from the early game. He needs to minimize his infantry losses. Panther's going straight into his base. No Jackson on the field, only one AT gun. He really needs to damage that thing's engine or something. That being said, he is going to save the priest crew, which means even if he loses the vehicle itself to the Panther, he can still have a Vet 2 priest if he just fields a new one and pops that crew back inside. Panther is going to risk itself to take that priest out, I think. AT gun will get recruited and continue to lay fire upon it. It also has a damaged engine, and I think it's going to disengage. Does not have a top mount machine gun, but the Oversoldat here will easily be able to decrew that AT gun every time it gets recruited, unless they can be forced away by something. Priest has been recruited here to try to maybe nail those overs if they hold still for too long. What infantry Redwings does have left is on the battlefield taking victory points. Major working on the left side. This squad takes the center. Bundle grenade gets tossed, dodges easily. With those over suppressed. Oh, I thought that priest shot might nail them, but it was a little off target. That one would have been perfect. Oh, Oversoldat will get away just fine. Priest barrage has been manually stopped. Because the Panther has a damaged engine, it can't really effectively dive the U.S. Forces base, and definitely will need to pull back for repairs, especially with that AT gun scaring it off a little bit. And the clock is ticking quite rapidly against the OKW. That grenade brings the squad to only one man. Kind of a late retreat, but fortunately they were spread out enough that that grenade wasn't a wipe. Riflemen here in the center trying to scare off Volksgrenadiers. They are Vet 5. Grenades getting tossed. That could be a wipe. Late retreat. He does get away just fine though. Panther still has a damaged engine, and with those Stern Pioneers retreating, it's not going to get repaired anytime soon. Only 27 points now remain for the Overcommando West. Priest is also still alive. It's available to fire. He has a lot of targets to choose from though. Squad in the center, squad on the left. Fires on the squad in the center, but does not connect. He'll stand right there in the corner of the capture circle just to try to be safe. Or he'll just leave the capture circle entirely. Doesn't want to risk those high vet squads, I guess. He's going to salvage that AT gun rather than going for the steal. Redwings reduced to no AT guns left. Once that Panther is repaired, not much to stop it from diving Redwings base and killing that priest. He does have 450 fuel in the bank though, so might be considering a Jackson, might consider a Sherman. But clearly he wants to keep his infantry army as big as possible though, so that he can keep up pressure on multiple victory points simultaneously. If he can just capture two or three at the same time, the game can end in a matter of seconds. Oversoldaten will try to defend the center here. That squad being sent right past these Volksgrenadiers. Stops to toss a grenade, which will get dodged. They'll probably be forced to retreat. LMG is moving up to pressure one squad into retreating. Those riflemen also going to have to retreat. No attempt for the left side is succeeding currently. These two riflemen look like they may be able to make something happen here, but those overs are a problem that the priest has to solve. It's available to fire once again, and it is doing so. Here in the center, they're pretty clumped. There it is! Beautiful shot from the Priest, and a squad of Obersoldaten is down. With those Obers out of the way, Red Wings may have an opportunity to take control of a victory point here in the center and right side, but since the barrage was a little on the late side, he's already been forced back for reinforcement, and it looks like that Panther is on its way to his base to try and take him out. 262 points remain for Red Wings, though. He's got a pretty decent amount of time to try and make something happen here. Jackson is in production. And that's a 4th Panzer II. That's 200 fuels worth of looks light tanks this game. He could have gotten a King Tiger by now. Don't know if I really agree with this purchase. I understand that he wants a quick and dirty solution to all these riflemen, but I mean, I think it's a good purchase. I just think he needs to use it better. He needs to stop losing them AFK in front of anti-tank guns. Priest is hiding here in the back. I can't believe that Panther's not going in to kill it. There is nothing to stop it, or at least there wasn't. There is now. Priest is firing over here on the right, I think. Shot is off target. Those Stern Pioneers will probably get out of the barrage radius easily enough. That rifle squad will be forced to retreat by the Panzer II. Panther is going to try and take out the Jackson first. Jackson has to pull back a little bit. Panther destroys the hedge. Jackson shot bounces. Rifleman moving for the AT grenade on that Panther. That squad dies getting the AT grenade off, but it does have its engine damaged. Red Wings needs to find a way to sneak a squad out of his base and get, well, multiple squads out of his base and get 3 victory points under control simultaneously. Oh, that grenade. He's having a lot of trouble doing it, though.
Smash their lines. Americans have 200 points remaining.
He's under a lot of pressure right outside of his base, and he's lost pretty much the entire map. Priest will be available to fire again quite soon, though. Priest bombarding over here. Stern Pios will retreat preemptively. It doesn't look like it's really going to hit anything. Might get a lucky shot off on the Panzer II. Jackson's been fully repaired, making its way forward to try to scare off these tanks. Fresh squad of Obers is being deployed to the right side now. Panther is trying to defend the center VP, and these squads are going to work on territory over here on the left. Once Red Wings gets this victory point under control, the clock will be slowed at the very least. Taking some territory back with these squads, try and get some resources collected, particularly munitions for grenades or armor-piercing rounds. Looks like the Oberkommando West player is just going to pull back and play a little more passive while he collects himself here. We're actually going to see 2 victory points getting harassed now by Red Wings. Commando West player doesn't have a whole lot of room to be letting Red Wings do this. Panzer II is going to move to counter. Priest is available to fire, and we'll probably see its first juicy target either there on the left in those Obers or here in the center on this blob. It's firing towards the center. That's 2 very clump squads. Oh god. Okay, they're spreading out a little. Wipes 1 on the first shot, though. And they're just going to move clear of the barrage radius. It's a pretty good barrage, though, wiping that full Volksgrenadier squad, all shreked up as well. And Riflemen have actually managed to scare off these Obers over here on the left. I think they had support from just rear echelons, apparently. Maybe they tossed a grenade. I'm not sure. Probably tossed a grenade to force that retreat. Meanwhile, the Panzer II is working over here on the right side. Riflemen have managed to take the point and try to delay recapture with a smoke grenade. It's not really working, though. Jackson cannot effectively engage that Panzer II with Panzerschreck screening. And the right side victory point will fall back into Axis hands, but victory point Red Wings got some very valuable VP bleed during that without losing much. Lost a full rifle squad, and he's going to get himself a second Jackson now. But he got his opponent down to only 19 points remaining before losing map control again. He still has both of his vehicles, a third one coming on the field. His opponent's up to 230 fuel, but hurting for manpower, getting himself a second squad of Obersoldaten now. It's 800 on Obers. which are a little vulnerable to that priest, honestly. I might almost just get more Folks Grenadiers if I were him, personally. But I can definitely see the appeal of the LMGs. Mine's been placed here on the victory point, but Redwings will dodge it, inadvertently probably, unless he saw that getting planted, I'm not sure.
Gets down to 100 points.
Wow, almost another wipe from the priest there in the second. That thing is just cleaning up this game. There it is. Vet 3 priest with 43 kills. Keeping Redwings in the game. With those 2 Jacksons protecting it, that Panther just can't do anything about this. And having lost all of his vetted Folks Grenadiers, he can't make a push towards that priest with infantry either. Grenade tossed at the Obers. Interesting placement. He actually kind of walked into it. I don't think he was quite sure where it was. If he had thrown the grenade at that mine while they were standing right there, it probably would have died. I don't think Redwings knows that mine is there, though. All 3 victory points contested right now. Only 14 remain for the Oberkommando West, and it looks like the right side will fall into Allied control, but the center and left have gone back into Axis hands to Obersoldaten. Priest is available to fire. And it's firing on the right side VP to try and counter these Folks Grenadiers moving up into the capture circle. They will retreat upon hearing the shell incoming. It's pretty off target though, and they'll be able to get away just fine. And you can really see that repairs are coming at a premium right now. In order to repair this structure, or the light tank, or the Panther, he's only got 1 squad of which to do so. Has to start prioritizing what he thinks is most important. Folks Grenadiers are upgraded with Panzerschreck over here. Rear echelon troops are going to move to engage them.
Indicates the enemy is left with only 75 points. Orders complete. Standing by.
Panthers probably shouldn't go to the left side. Those Jacksons are available to counter. If he does, if Redwings hits this mine, he'll probably lose a Jackson, but priest bombardment over here pushes away a Folks Grenadier squad. Redwings barely hanging on at this point. Only 60 points remain. Jackson shots both bounce at long range on the frontal armor of a Panther. And we're gonna see Redwings make an attempt here. Rear echelons pushing for the center point. 14 points remaining for the Axis. He must counter. Rifleman moving to support as well. Priest will be able to fire again in 20 seconds. And a Sherman has finally managed to make it onto the field. 54 minutes in, high explosive rounds equipped. He will push away those Sturm Pioneers. Folks Grenadiers on the flank, taking heavy damage, but I think we're going to see that rifle squad wiped. Maybe not, barely getting away. HE shells will force the Sherman away. Obersoldaten wipe the rear echelon troops, but a fresh squad of rifles moves up, take control of the point, and the clock is stopped actually. Folks Grenadiers have made their way to the left and actually get that point under control. Sherman threatens to wipe those Obersoldaten, however. The Panther is moving to support here, but the Jacksons are available to screen. Priest barrage on the battle group headquarters doesn't look like it's really hitting anything. I don't think so. Infantry unit just got lost though, I think. Obersoldaten maybe? I don't know. Command Panther takes a huge amount of damage from those Jacksons, and there it is, even at long range on the frontal armor. Jackson shot connects, and the Command Panther is destroyed. Radio net activated on the Sherman, and because there are 2 Jacksons in the area, it gets a pretty big bonus, I think. to fire rate. I wonder if an ambulance counts or a priest counts as allied armor. Somebody should drive a Sherman next to a priest and see if the little symbol appears over its head. Ooh, I think there was a booby trap over here. He just decrewed his Jackson and the booby trap blew up the whole crew, which means he can't get back inside. That's not good. However, the clock will start ticking against the Axis right now. The whole crew is dead and there's now just an abandoned Jackson sitting over here. Panzer II's been destroyed, but the Panther and Tier 4 structure will easily be able to take out that Jackson. There's now a dead Jackson and an abandoned Jackson on the right point. Center point is in Allied hands. Left side point falling into Rifleman's hands. Sherman needs to try and push those Volksgrenadiers away, and off they go. Should be able to get away fine. Jackson is destroyed over here on the right side. Still just an abandoned Jackson sitting right here on the right side point. Sturm Pioneers trying to delay capture, taking a Priest barrage. Grenade will force the retreat, maybe even a wipe on those Vet 5 Sturms. Oh, not quite. They will get to safety. Redwings is not successful in capturing the point on the left, but the clock is ticking against the Axis with this point decaptured and the left side point decaptured. Grenade forcing those Volksgrenadiers to reposition. I think these riflemen will take this engagement. Counter grenade being tossed, infiltration grenades in fact. Not on target, however. Only 10 points remaining for the Axis as he attempts desperately to get this right side point under control. And with that 3-man Oversoldaten squad, he cannot crew that Jackson. Panther trying to push these riflemen off the center point to allow it to be captured. 6 points now remaining. 4 points remaining. Those Volksgrenadiers are suicidally attempting to just hope for a lucky Panzerschreck snipe, but it's not happening. 3, 2, 1, and that's it. No chance for the left side or center, and Redwings with only two-man squads of riflemen and a priest left in his army. At the very end of the game, somehow takes it. That was incredibly close. Came right down to the wire. Good game. Allies win.